Hello blast processors, and a slightly impromptu video we're doing here on comics, and more particularly a comic called Starlord. Now, most of you will think of Starlord will think of Marvel and that guy with the goggles with the tree, but Starlord to a certain age group of people is something totally different. It was a British comic, and it's the origin of two ongoing stories in 2000 AD. Those of you who went to the Free Comic Book Day events may have picked up a copy of this. This is 2000 AD Regend, and it's got American style proportions. It's new interpretations of existing characters, and on the front you can see it's Johnny and Doug, Johnny Alpha. Johnny Alpha, obviously is pictured here on the front of 2000 AD. Well, as I say, he didn't start life in 2000 AD, he came from Starlord. Now, 2000 AD has already mentioned Starlord in passing. If you take a look at this comic here, this was the special from December. Check the date on it. It's the 13th of December 2017 to the 2nd of January. Yes, it's the 100-page Christmas special. Now, if you bought this direct from Rebellion, I'll show here, came with an art print. Ta-da! Now, people who bought this obviously bought it for a reason, because they knew what this print means. This modern one is drawn by Henry Flint, but this is in celebration of the first ever issue of Starlord, which we've got here. Bear with me, folks. This here. Bit of reflection, we'll take it out. Because when Starlord came out, it came with a free badge. Well, more of a big sticky label-y thing. And there's different designs. I think mine was Laser Technician. And that's the only part of my collection for Starlord I haven't actually got. I've got everything else, including all the free gifts. But this was my first introduction to actual comic strips. British comic strips. Up to then, you had anthology magazines like Lookin', which had a couple of pages with articles on the Bay City Rollers, or whoever's Adamant, for instance, who was big and popular at the time. But this was a proper comic. Now, 2000 AD was already out on the shelves, and this was designed to be a different audience. But it was a melting pool of a lot of talent, a lot of very capable creators. Pity it lasted 22 issues, but we move on. So, moving on, like for issue 2, Brian Bolland cover. I mean, Brian Bolland now, a lot of people will think of The Killing Joke, that's he's like, of being the classic Dread artist. But Brian Bolland. Issue 3, Kevin O'Neill. Kevin O'Neill, Martial Law, and of course the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Major credits to his name. Next volume 4 comes out this year, I think. And as I say, everything I've got, apart from issue 1, still has the free gifts, which is basically battleships, really. But these comics and the stories within it, the Mind Wars by Alan Hebden, they stick with you. They are, especially to a young boy of that age, they were pretty strong, and they set the path rolling. And that's rolling it all the way till the present, because thanks to all those people and all those creators and recent events, you get to meet people like Jesus Redondo, Mind Wars, the sketch, or Ian Kennedy, who's still knocking out the ball out the park with Commando. I got him to do a commission of Robusters, the Praying Mantis. Still wonderful things, and he shows it with counter shading, which I've always loved. And as I said before, it's Johnny and Dog. That's one of a couple of covers he appears on. And again, Carlos, the classic pairing. And moving ahead, let's take a look at this one. Bob Wakelin, probably more famous now for his covers for Ocean Software and indeed doing their logo. Unfortunately no longer with us, but as you see, wonderful artwork. And curiously enough, they went for a phase of having photographs and models on the back for these fictitious events. And the models are done by Martin Bauer, who's noted for making all the models for Space 1999. And some top credit and top talent all around. Like I said at the start, this is a bit of an impromptu little video and a bit meandering and doesn't quite address all the things I really wanted to say. But it's Starlord with its 3 annuals. Yay. Cover artist unknown, unfortunately. 81, Mr. Bolland again. And the very curious, well, 1982, with the Liberator from Blake 7 on it, but there is a feature article on TV, so that's how they excuse it. Again, these annuals feature very classic creators. There's Carlos again with a John Wagner script. I haven't mentioned many writers in all this, so John Wagner, Alan Hebden, Pat Mills obviously, other artists, Ian Gibson, Dave Gibbons. There's just so many. It really is. It is a real set of treasures, this. And I can say that my modern collecting history, well, all my collecting history, and that of an awful lot of people, owe a debt of gratitude to 2000 AD and this little thing called Starlord. So, happy birthday, Starlord.